Good evening. Tonight's message is a bit longer than normal because of the changes announced by the State Board of Education this afternoon. The State Board operates like the school committee for all public school districts across the Commonwealth. They create the regulatory framework under which we operate. During the summer, the State Board required districts to create 3 types of student schedules that counted towards fulfilling the time and learning regulations required by the state. These were full remote, hybrid, and full return. To this end, we created full remote and hybrid schedules, as these options were the only 2 schedules that met the health and safety protocols required at the time. Individual districts had to submit these plans for state approval. Our plans were approved by the state in August. This morning, the State Board eliminated 2 of these 3 options at the elementary level, full remote and hybrid, as counting towards fulfilling the time and learning requirements for students. This change leaves only full return as the mode of learning available for us to meet our state learning time mandate. The State Board is allowing the full remote option to remain in place through the end of the school year. We are not certain whether a full remote learning option will be available after this school year.
The deadline for implementing this regulatory change is Monday, April 5th. We intend to comply by the deadline or sooner if possible. We are working on schedule adjustments and staffing requirements to create full-day elementary schedules, and we will release these schedules as soon as possible. Please know that everyone in the district wants students back in school fully and safely. We are working thoughtfully and urgently to achieve this goal. Know that these changes will be disruptive. Again, these changes will be disruptive. We realize that some will appreciate the disruption and others will not. It will be like starting a new school year for our elementary students. One example of a disruptive aspect is that we currently have several teachers working with students in both the remote academy and in person. This split duty works because of the shortened in-person day. We have advertised for additional staff to support the extending of the in-person day and the maintenance of the remote academy, which will need to operate as a fully independent school given the changes in the elementary day.
In an attempt to minimize the disruption, we are initially limiting some other possible changes. We would like to stress initially. Specifically, we are not initially allowing families to change their learning option from in-person to remote or remote to in-person when we first make the change to full elementary days. We are also not adding additional riders to buses. As you experience every fall, it takes several weeks for us to create new bus routes, and the dismissal procedures in each building are already established. With the current middle and high school schedules, we will be dismissing our kindergarten students with the grade 1 through 5 students as we have been doing all year. This dismissal time adds time to the kindergarten day from our pre-COVID kindergarten schedule. So again, the kindergarten program will be following the same schedule as grades 1 through 5 so that we can get everyone home on the buses that we are currently have in use. We are keeping the end time of our after-school program at 4 p.m. We will be sending out surveys to families in the coming weeks to get more information in terms of which modality you want your student to be in. So be looking for those surveys in the coming weeks.
In addition to the initial disruption that comes with the new schedules, we may have more classrooms switch to full remote if the added time, including maskless activities like lunch, result in more positive cases in classrooms. Our plan is to continue to have full elementary classrooms switch to remote learning with the identified close contacts quarantined as a precaution against school spread, as we have done all year. As the students learn their new routines, we consider allowing family choice back to an in-person setting. If enough families make this change, we will need to move teachers and further disrupt the relationships that have been established. We received many emails about changing the middle and high school schedules. We are working on full week, full day schedules at both schools. Like the elementary, these changes will cause some disruption, viewed positively by some and negatively by others. We have not identified a specific date for this change as yet. It will be sometime after April 5th.
Before we get to our gratitude, we've mentioned the elementary schools changing, again with the date of April 5th as being our date to go to a full day schedule. We mentioned the middle school and the high school creating full day schedules happening sometime after April 5th. I just want to make sure that I mention that the Burlington Early Childhood Center, our preschool, will not be making any changes this year. Now for our gratitude. Our gratitude this week goes out to all district educators and staff who have been showing up to work. Our elementary schools have been open 5 days a week since September 10th. What facilitated this opening was a high-quality remote learning academy staffed with talented Burlington teachers. Many communities contracted with the state-endorsed online school options to make this happen. We have prioritized establishing relationships remotely and in person, and our elementary students, both in person and remote, are making progress.
Our secondary schools created their schedules based on the safety protocols required at the time. We attempted to maximize learning time with live streaming throughout the week. The ability to teach both in-person and remote students simultaneously is incredibly difficult. Despite the technical challenges, our educators put students first. We will stress again that our non-remote administrators, teachers, and staff have been working all year in person without vaccines. Having this group vaccinated only makes expanding the elementary day and adjusting secondary schedules easier.
Our hope is that a local vaccination program, similar to the process used to get our first responders vaccinated quickly and with little disruption, can be established for educators and staff. It would only take a day or two to get everyone vaccinated if the vaccines could be distributed to local boards of health. We appreciate that these are frustrating times and that everyone wants to go back to pre-pandemic life. If we are thoughtful and remain mindful that the COVID virus and new variants still exist, we will be there shortly. Thank you.